Well, I'll give you my my dream committee, which is a reach for a freshman congressman from Kansas, and then I'll tell you what I think I can perhaps pull off. I'd love to sit on an agriculture committee or an armed services committee. Particularly in armed services, I'd love to do manpower issues. I think the way we're dealing with manpower today is disingenuous. We are fighting a long-term struggle with a short-term solution. We're using our guard and our reserves in ways they were not intended to use, so I'd love to go be part of that. And I think I can get one of those two. Ag is also a big deal here in the 4th District of Kansas. Some of us in Wichita forget that you drive west of 135th Street and east, not very far, Augusta, and you're in ag land in the 4th District. 8.5 of the 10.5 counties here are agricultural production. So I'd love to be part of holding back the EPA from destroying hundreds and hundreds of jobs here in the 4th District of Kansas. In a perfect world, those are the two I think I can work towards. In a perfect world, I'd get on the Appropriations Committee, but not for the reason most folks want to go there. I have a deep belief that we are all better off if we have a smaller federal government, and the place that money gets spent in the first instance is the Appropriations Committee. So I'd love to go there and be a real pain in the neck. And if the Republicans get control, which I'm hopeful that we will in November, I'll still have to be a pain in the neck. It won't. We all know that government grew when the Republicans had control too, and we can't. We're out of money, and we can't do it anymore. And that means hard decisions. I've talked about a couple of them. My political handlers tell me I can't talk about the other couple, but I'm happy to. Look, we've got to make very difficult decisions. This is no longer an infinite resource play. This is a play where we have debt to GDP that is at a staggering level. And if we don't bring it back, nothing else matters. All this other stuff we all care so much about will become largely unimportant because we'll have a federal balance sheet that you can't get back. So I recognize that I'll still have to be a pain in the neck, even if this election goes the way I hope that it does in November. Yes, sir.
With the shakeup of our congressional delegation across Kansas, up in D.C., people retiring, people deciding to run for election and then losing that election, what are your thoughts in terms of the dynamics between those who are running for office right now, both on the Senate side and on the House side, about that cohesion and working together with the future of our delegation up there in D.C.?
Yeah, that's a great question. The federal delegation in the House, come January, will have 2 years of total experience. Right, we'll have a second-term congressman and 3 freshman congressmen, no matter how the elections turn out all across the state. That's an enormous change from what we've had here in Kansas for an awfully long time. We'll have a new United States senator as well. And so we'll really have 2 folks that have been to the rodeo before. And that's different. And so I think it is, for that reason, I think it's always important, but I think it's even more important that we all figure out how to make sure we represent the Kansas mindset together. And I know the Republican candidates in the 1st District, Tim Buell's camp, and Kevin Yoder reasonably well. Lynn Jenkins is actually a distant cousin, although she will not admit it in public. We showed up at a wedding, and she said, "Why are you here?" She said, "I'm family of the groom." And I said, "Really?" Me too. It was a long time ago. But it is absolutely imperative that we do. We'll have slightly different views on things. We don't think about things identically. I know a little bit about where each of them is in their political views, so we won't agree on everything. But there'll be enormous swaths of place where we can work hard together, and we'll be counting on Senator Roberts too to help us